Hi all, in this video I'm going to give the answers of the interview questions that I have discussed in the previous shot. So let's move to the first question. The first question says that my profile does not have the edit access on a field of the account, or let's say contact as well, and contact, and I have an apex class updating the same field of account. Okay, in this context we will use contact instead, but that apex class is having with sharing keyword. Even though I don't have access to this field, will the apex logic run fine for me? Okay, let's do it. So basically I am logged in as Salesforce in 5 minutes user inside the Chrome, and there is some test Pangarekar user that I've created. He is logged in Edge. Now the profile, as we can see, this is a test Pangarekar user, right? As we can see, this is a test Pangarekar user. His role is customer support North America, and profile is custom profile. And inside this custom profile, he does not have any access to this primary contact field. If you can see, there is a primary field inside the contact. Okay, he just have read access, but he does not have the edit access. And on the same, I have created an apex class, or we can say trigger. So this trigger is going to call this method sharing and update data. And in this we are taking all the accounts that are getting updated with active as yes, and then we are updating the primary contact to true. So if I'm going to make active as yes, it's going to make the related contacts primary contact as true. But this profile does not have access to that particular field. Okay, and this overall class is running with sharing keyword. So let's see, even if I make yes, will the related contact that I have, will it have primary contact checkbox checked, even though he does not have access to this field, and the class is with sharing. Okay, so let's do it. I'm making it yes, and let's save it. Now I'm just going to refresh it. So you can see, even though this user did not have access to this field, the primary contact still got checked, right? So this was happened even though he did not have access to this field, and the apex class that you are running the code from is with sharing keyword. But the only problem is that I'm calling this particular apex class from the trigger, which runs usually in the system mode. That's why it got updated even though it did not have access to this field, even though it did not have things like this. Okay, so this is the answer to this first question, that my profile does not have. Okay, will the apex logic run fine for me? It's working perfectly fine for you even though you do not have access, and the class is with sharing keyword. Let's move on to the next question. Next question is, using criteria based sharing rule, I have read access to one record, but there is one screen flow on the same page running in without sharing context, which updates the same record. If you use that flow, will I be able to update that record? So let's look into it. Right now, as you can see, what I've done is I've created a flow. So this is the flow. Okay, and this flow is actually running in the without sharing context. It can access all the data as need, and this particular flow has been added on this account screen where I can update the account name, right? So the first thing is done. Okay, I have created a flow, one screen flow on the same page running with without sharing. This is done. Next, using criteria based sharing rule, I have access to the one record. Okay, so this is a record. Usually what is the problem is that there is a CEO role. Okay, and below there is a customer profile, north. There is a which what is the name of the profile? The profile name is customer support North America. Okay, this customer support North America, see, I'm going to name it as CSN, is below CEO. Okay, and in Edge I'm logged in as CEO and as CSN as in the Chrome. So basically I won't have the access to these records, right? I won't have access to the record that have been owned by the Salesforce in 5 minutes user. But I have written a sharing rule saying that if the ownership equals to others, then just share the record with read only context. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy paste this particular account. As the ownership is other, even though I'm logged in as test Pangarekar user, I will be able to see this record. Now the thing is that let's check it out. Will I be able to edit this record? Even though I do not have access, right? I do not have access to that particular field. I think so. No, I do not have access. I just have read access to this record, right? Using roles, I just have read access. and but the flow is running it without sharing context. So let's try to run it and update it as test Pangarekar user, my test account, and let's click on next. The record got updated even though the record was shared with only read-only access. If you can see right now, the record was shared with only read-only access, but as my profile or as my complete flow was running in without sharing context, it was able to access all the data and was able to update the records. So the answer to this second question is that if we use that flow, will I be able to update that record? Yes, you were able to update that record even though the above conditions mentioned are satisfied. Let's move on to the next question, that how can we fire a flow from a trigger. So let's say you have a trigger, okay, and that using trigger.new you are getting all the current variables, and if the lead source of that particular trigger is changed, right, if the context lead source is changed, in that cases you want to run that flow. So in that cases you can give flow dot interview dot whatever the name of your flow is, and create an object of it equals to new if flow interview dot status change flow, whatever the name of the flow is, and if you want you can also pass the parameters inside your flow from your apex class, and then whatever your object you have created of that flow dot start, the flow will automatically get started from the trigger itself. So this was all about the answers of the interview questions that I've discussed in the previous shots. If you found this video helpful, I request you to please like these videos and subscribe to my channel.